For the better part of about a decade and a half, I helped raise money for the UNCF, which benefited historically black colleges and universities. So I have a bias in favor of HBCUs. And I'll say that in advance of talking to Angela Saylor, who's with the Heritage Foundation and an expert on this subject. Angela, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thank you. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for having me.
I'm having a great day, but tell me this. We've gone through this China virus pandemic. We're not through it yet. There are some spikes of cases now that are very concerning enough to get Wall Street in a tizzy today with about a 1,900-point drop because we thought, well, America can now get back to work. We've worked out some of the treatments. We don't have a vaccine yet, but we'll see how it goes. And we may have some tough times. But one of the institutions in our country that may have a particular tough time is historically black colleges and universities. Can you explain why that's the case?
Sure. Well, first I want to say I'm a graduate of an HBCU. And as we are looking at, across sectors, the business sectors and across America, everyone's being hit. And HBCUs, there's been an ongoing conversation about this from presidents and people in the community of being concerned that a lot of the revenue sources for HBCUs is driven by student tuition and fees. And so, as you can see naturally, a delay with being able to have enrollment up it will hit the HBCUs pretty hard. And so there's always a silver lining in that as other universities around the country are looking at their models, their business models for how to operate. HBCUs are going to have to do the same and are prepared to do the same. And we've seen that President Trump has given relief to this community. I think that is encouraging, but again, I think it's an opportunity, like with the rest of the country, to pioneer in this space and especially for HBCUs to look at additional revenue streams, not just for COVID-19, but going forward. These institutions are very valuable to our nation. They are serving more than 300,000 students each year. And so you can see, if you look at that over a 4-year period of who they're graduating in terms of science and technology and black lawyers in this country and CEOs, they make a huge contribution to our nation. Our president, Kay Coles James, who at Heritage is a graduate of Hampton University and HBCU. So again, this is a critical moment for America, and HBCUs are a part of this critical moment.
Ms. Saylor, let me ask you this. In some ways, I always try to find a silver lining even in the worst kind of news. We've had a huge amount of unemployment recently. I would imagine that, unfortunately, when unemployment happens, it often hits the black community hardest, Hispanic community, et cetera. And usually when we see a lot of people become unemployed, many of them will sometimes say, well, maybe this is my time to go back to school if the jobs aren't there quite yet. And we expect that, I'm seeing projections that we may drop from the 13% unemployment to maybe 9% by the end of the year, 6.5% next year. But this may be the opportunity for an awful lot of young Americans especially to say, well, if I don't have a job right now, maybe I can go back to school, get some additional education, and then come out of this the other end when the jobs are back. Is that a possibility as one of the ways that HBCUs can make it through this big dip in their enrollment?
Absolutely. We look across and the online virtual training world, institutions are ramping up and trying to be prepared for that. HBCUs, though, are going to have to take some of their revenue streams to increase their capacity in that space, like other universities and colleges across the country. But you're right. It is a place for innovation, and it is a way to fill a void for a time like this. So as I have said, I am hopeful that HBCUs are going to weather this storm. You look at universities and colleges like Howard University and Hampton University and Spelman College. They will definitely lead the way here. And you also look at silver lining. You've got, billionaires like Robert Smith who put $34 million on the table for Morehouse grads.
He's the guy who founded BET, right? Is that, or that's Robert Johnson?
No, that was Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson.
Yeah. Right.
But they're willing to put some money on the table and maybe bail these institutions out. I don't want to see them go anywhere. I want to make sure that they stay around. I understand the role that they play, and I wish you well. Is there a website that you can suggest that people go to if they're inclined to try to help the HBCUs weather this storm, or maybe even send some of their kids to these institutions?
Well, there's the Thurgood Marshall Fund and their website for some of the institutions. There's the United Negro College Fund, and those are some great associations to plug into to help the HBCU community.
Well, I was always glad to do those fundraisers. Angela Saylor is with the Heritage Foundation. Ms. Saylor, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.